Hi everyone. So I will speak to you about Copilot Studio governance and more specifically about a tool I developed I call the Copilot Studio Monitor to help admins and Center of Excellence govern Copilot Studio a little better. So we have quite a bunch of inventories today in the Power Platform. We have the Power Platform inventory. We have an inventory of agents in the Microsoft Admin Center. More recently, we have Agent 365, which also promises a lot of inventory capabilities and alongside other things. But today, as an admin, as a Power Platform admin or someone responsible for the Copilot Studio governance, it is really hard to know how really our agents in a tenant are configured. If you want to know what are the Copilot Studio agents which are autonomous, which agents are using the computer use feature, or how many agents are using the A2A protocol and which external agents are they integrating with. Today, it's really hard to know with these out-of-the-box tools, hence this Copilot Studio Monitor. There are some tools created by the PowerCat team. There is the Copilot Studio Kit, which does surface some of this information. But in terms of reporting, I feel it still falls short on what I need as an admin for the Copilot Studio governance. So because one demo is worth 1,000 words, I'm going to start to demo the output of this solution. The end result, it's a dashboard. So it's with Power BI, and it will show us things like how many agents I created in the tenant, how many of them are using Gen AI, how many tools I created, and how many knowledge sources are used by the agents. But we can see a few other things. So we can see how many agents are using maker connections. Or the ones that are using the end user connection when a user uses an agent. So that has some governance impact for admins. The connectors used by agent as well. So we can see here that I have 2 agents using the Outlook connector and 1 agent using the SharePoint connector. It's also not something very easy to access otherwise. And then on the bottom right, we can see per features, how many agents are using the feature. So this is where we can see how many agents are using, for example, an MCP server or calling child agents, how many agents are autonomous, and pretty much anything you can do with Copilot Studio, you should find it here and see how many agents are using that capability. Now you have a bunch of other pages. Each page is showing a focus on different topics, but we're going to stay from here and we're going to do a right click and to see exactly what are the agents using MCP servers. I can drill through and go to the agents page, and this will show me the specific agents using that capability. From this page, we have a bunch of columns available. You can see the Azure app registration associated to the agent. In the future, if you do the agent ID generation, if you set it up, you will see it here too. And from this page, we can also do a right click and have more information about one specific agent. And so we go to the agent focus page where we can see the description, the instructions of the agent, the features that this agent is using, and then per capability, we can have more information. For example, I can see the exact MCP server configured for this agent, what knowledge sources are configured for it. I can also see the channels that the agent has been published to. Any flows that the agent is calling, or child agent, where I will see the agent name and the description. Overall, all of this is giving you more information about the agents in your tenant. You do need to be a tenant admin to set up this solution, but it does a long way in giving additional visibility. Now, from any of those pages, you can decide to include or exclude the agents created automatically by Microsoft. So when you create some environment, especially if you're using Dynamics, you're going to have some agents automatically created by Microsoft. You might want to keep them in your dashboard because they can be customized. So from a governance point of view, they're still relevant. But you might also want to exclude them and only focus on the agents created from scratch by your users. Now, going back to my slide, I've got a little bit of information on how this is created. And I also want to show you how you can install it to start using it today. So for the ones who don't know, anything pretty much that you do when you configure an agent in Copilot Studio is stored in Dataverse. More specifically, there are 2 tables that are used for this. The first one is the bot table. It used to have the display name chatbot, I believe. Then they renamed it into Copilot, and now it's called agent. But the technical name has always been bot. This will store the basic metadata of your agent, name, description, who created it, what's the authentication method used for the agent, and some other AI settings such as the orchestration, if it's using deep reasoning, or the level of moderation that has been configured, and a bunch of other things as well. And then the other table which is the most relevant for what we're doing here, is the agent component table. Any tool, whether it's a connector, a flow, an MCP server, a prompt, or any knowledge source that is configured for the agent will show in the bot component table. You also have a specific component for the instructions, the model, whether web search is enabled or not. So this table, agent component, really stores most of the things that an admin will be able to have, will want to have visibility over. Now, the question is, how do we get this information in a central place so that we can plug in some reporting to it? And there are different options here. The Copilot Studio Kit, what they do, what the PowerCat team is doing for that is they developed a C# plugin. So they have a flow that will go through each environment, and then the C# plugin is going to get the data from those two tables and process it, and then put it in an elastic table in a central environment. This is great. It's very performant, but it's not super easy to maintain, especially for Center of Excellence and admins of the Power Platform who do not necessarily have the knowledge of how to maintain C# plugins. Now, the other way to get this information, it's a lot more traditional, it's a lot older, is the Series Starter Kit. So essentially what the Series Starter Kit does is, for the ones who don't know, you install the kit in an environment, you have some global inventory tables for agent and agent component. The tables are PVA bot and PVA component. That gives you an idea on how old those tables are, the times of PVA. And then you want to get the information from all the other environments. And for this, you have some sync flows that will go through each other environment, get the data from those tables, put it back in the inventory tables. Now, the Series Kit today is already getting some information from the agent and agent component table. The problem is that it is not syncing the columns that we really would want to sync to get access to this information. And that's what I'm going to show now. So the solution I'm sharing is essentially an extension of the Series Kit. It's a Power Platform solutions that you can install from my GitHub repo. And it contains those PVA bot and PVA component table from the Series Kit, and it just is adding additional columns to get more information. In the PVA component table, the key column that we really want to synchronize is the data column. That's what is storing all the definition of your component. If we have a look at what this data looks like for the PVA component table, we'll see that this data column is formatted in YAML. So this is great for many different things, but one thing it's not easy for, it's processing this information through Power Automate. So you can see here an example of what this YAML column looks like for one component. And each type of component, whether it's a connector, an HTTP action, and so on, will have a slightly different content. But this is what it looks like. Now, the rest of this extension, what it does is I duplicated the sync flows that syncs this information for the agent. And this, the custom sync flows, is synchronizing those additional columns. But as we saw, this data column for the components is not super easy to process from Power Automate. So all the processing of this information is done in Power BI. The Copilot Studio Kit, they're using C#, so they're using regex in C#, which you can't really do from Power Automate. But in Power BI, you can do some pretty advanced stuff to process this information. So the data model, what we have is this massive bot component table is broken down in many different tables based on the type of components. So you have a separate table now for prompts, the MCP servers called, or the triggers, and so on. And in the Power Query, created two functions, or AI helped me to create those functions to extract the information we want from this YAML column in the original Copilot table, agent component table. Now, if you are interested in installing this, it's very easy. In powertricks.io, I share maybe about 15 or 20 other tools like this that you can install, and you will find one article for the Copilot Studio Monitor. In this, I am sorry, something happened in my screen. Okay. In this article, you will find a bunch of other information, including the link to my GitHub repo, where you will be able to find the Power Platform solution that you can install, manage or unmanaged, and the Power BI template. once you install the solution, you have to turn off the original sync flow for agents, turn on this new sync flow instead, the custom one. And as soon as it has run, you will be able to set up the template and you will get all this data. And that's all for me. I hope this was useful. Feel free to reach out via LinkedIn. Any question or anything Power Platform related that you want to discuss, I will be very happy to discuss. Thank you.